In football, there are three kinds of signings: expensive ones, cheap ones, and the ones that come for free. Let's start by making it clear. Not every free transfer turns out to be a success. One of the biggest exceptions was James Rodriguez. Florentino Perez's original plan was for Bayern Munich to buy him for 50 million euros. But the German club, which had him on loan for 2 seasons, simply said no thanks. They returned the Colombian to Madrid, and a year later, in 2020, Florentino didn't ask for 50 million, or 25 million, or even 5 million. He asked for nothing. Actually, nothing at all. He gave him away to Everton for 0 euros. An extraordinary case because, unlike most players on this list, James didn't leave at the end of his contract. He left halfway through it. Florentino handed him over to the English club, where the midfielder showed a few sparks early on, but quickly faded out. His final numbers: 26 matches, 6 goals, 9 assists, and after a year, Everton sold him for 8 million euros to a Qatari club. One of the most baffling giveaways in football history was the one AC Milan pulled off in 2002, Rivaldo. That season, Barcelona decided to bring back Luis van Gaal, knowing full well that it meant getting rid of the freshly turned 30-year-old Brazilian, who had just been crowned world champion and was one of the standout stars of the 2002 World Cup in Korea, Japan. Just a year earlier, he had scored arguably the most incredible goal in Barca history. He was still under contract, yet President Joan Gaspar couldn't even manage to sell him off at clearance prices. Rivaldo led for free to the early 2000s version of Superpower Milan, a total nonsense. But hey, a bit of consolation for Barca fans. The Barca legend did almost nothing in Italy. He played 14 matches, scored 8 goals, and registered 5 assists. Memphis Depay arrived at Barcelona in 2021, just when Barca desperately needed a player like him. That is, someone good, but more importantly, free. And the Dutchman was among the best available under those conditions, making him the perfect signing for a Messi-less, cash-strapped Barca. Depay only lasted 1 season and stayed true to his career-long identity: inconsistent, and just not enough for the super elite. He played 42 matches, scored 14 goals, and recorded just 2 assists. Adrien Rabiot's exit from Paris Saint-Germain played out like a soap opera. The academy product and his mother refused to extend his contract. PSG froze him out for 6 months, not letting him play. Rabiot took his former club to court, and 6 years later, in 2025, the court sided with him. In the meantime, he had joined Juventus on a free transfer. His performances ranged from underwhelming to decent, but he never fully convinced. In 5 seasons with the Bianconeri, Rabiot won 2 domestic cups and 1 Serie A title. One of the biggest scandals of the summer of 2021 was that after long negotiations, Real Madrid got fed up with Sergio Ramos and chose not to renew their captain's contract. At 35 years old, Ramos wanted to sign a multi-year deal, something that went against Florentino Perez's policy. He arrived at Paris Saint-Germain injured, and his debut in France didn't come until the end of November. In the end, he played 58 matches and scored 6 goals across 2 disappointing seasons at PSG. For 1 month and 3 days, Sergio Ramos' transfer to PSG was the blockbuster of the summer. The media speculated that the Spanish centre-back was the missing piece that could finally deliver the long-awaited Champions League title to the French capital. And then, just 33 days later, checkmate. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Good luck. But Joan Laporta couldn't keep his promise, and Lionel Messi also arrived at PSG on a free transfer, signing a 2-year deal. His first season was the worst of his career, scoring just 6 goals in Ligue 1, when in Spain he never dipped below 30. His second year was much better, but it was overshadowed by another contract renewal drama, and in 2023, Messi once again left for free, this time to Inter Miami. In 2 years at PSG, Messi played 75 matches, scored 32 goals, and provided 35 assists. In his 2 years in Miami so far, La Pulga has played 68 games, scored 58 goals, and assisted 26 times. Paulo Dybala played 7 seasons for Juventus. His performance in the later years was so disappointing that Juve chose not to renew his contract, making La Joya a free agent in 2022. And in Rome, a city so unaccustomed to truly famous footballers, he got a welcome that not even the Pope will get. Still, Dybala's level in the Italian capital has been decent, and nothing more. 3 seasons in, he's played 113 matches, 42 goals and 22 assists. I mean, that's not bad for a free transfer. Unlike Messi, Zlatan Ibrahimovic didn't move for free twice. He did it 3 times. First to Manchester United in 2016, where his impact was modest. 53 matches, 29 goals and 10 assists. In 2018, he left for LA Galaxy, where he tallied an impressive 53 goals and 15 assists in just 58 appearances. Finally, in 2020, Ibra became a free agent again, and Milan picked him up for one last ride. He wrapped up that chapter with 78 games, 37 goals, 11 assists, and of course, a Scudetto. Michael Barak was 29 and coming off the best season of his career when he decided to leave Bayern Munich in 2006. After 4 years at the Bavarian club, Barak was the best footballer in Germany. But he couldn't live up to expectations at Chelsea. He spent 4 seasons in London, winning 3 FA Cups, 1 Premier League title, and a Carabao Cup. Still, what most people remember is the 2008 Champions League final, another silver medal for his collection. After 11 years with Bayern Munich's first team, David Alaba didn't renew his contract and joined Real Madrid for free in 2021. It was a vulnerable Madrid side, having just lost the long-time centre-back pairing of Sergio Ramos and Rafael Varane. But they found in Alaba a key figure who helped lead the club to an improbable La Liga and Champions League double in his very first season. Then, in 2023, the Austrian tore his ACL, and unless a miracle happens, it's safe to say that he never recovered. Since the start of the 2020s, Inter Milan has won 2 Scudettos and reached 2 Champions League finals. The most remarkable part? Over these 5 years, they've made 450 million from player sales and only spent 384 million on reinforcements. In other words, Inter sells more than they buy. And yet, they've been the best team in Italy thanks to clever signings like Marcus Thuram. After 4 seasons at Borussia Mönchengladbach, Thuram arrived in 2023 as a free agent and has racked up 33 goals and 22 assists in his first 2 years with the Nerazzurri. Hakan Çalhanoğlu's 2021 move to Inter Milan is one of the most cost-effective transfers in football history. The same kiss and fingers playmaker who never quite stood out during his 4 seasons with AC Milan, from 2017 to 2021, switched clubs but not the stadiums. He did, however, drop deeper on the pitch, reinventing himself as a key player behind Inter's recent success. One season after winning the Champions League with Chelsea, Antonio Rudiger didn't renew his contract in England and arrived on a free transfer at the Real Madrid. He immediately became the leader of the defense and a fan favorite. The German centre-back is one of the key figures in the Madrid squad that won both La Liga and the Champions League in 2024.
Hey there! You might know Barak in Spanish. Our channel has over 400,000 subscribers. Well, this is the official English version. Same content, same passion. Now in your language. But we need your help to grow. Hit that subscribe button and join us on this new journey. Now, let's get back to the video.
Back in the day, footballers always belonged to their clubs. They could only leave if a transfer fee was paid. Until the late 1990s, when Jan-Marc Bosman sued for his basic rights as a worker and changed football forever. One of the first players to benefit from the Bosman ruling was Steve McManaman, who spent 9 seasons with Liverpool. In 1999, the English midfielder discovered a strategy that would soon become the norm. He refused to renew his contract, allowing him to leave on a free to Real Madrid. He spent 4 seasons with Los Blancos. In his first year, he won the Champions League. In his second, La Liga. In his third, another Champions League. And in his fourth, he took home La Liga again. Michael Laudrup's case is one of the rare instances of a superstar moving for free before the Bosman ruling. It happened in 1995, when the Barcelona legend and Johan Cruyff had finally had enough of each other. Barca released the Dane, never imagining that he'd cross enemy lines and sign with Real Madrid. Laudrup went down in history for being one on the winning side of both of the most iconic 5-0 Clásicos in history. In January 1994, his last season with Barca, he was part of the team that humiliated Madrid 5-0. Just 363 days later, in early 1995, he was back, this time on the other side, as Madrid beat Barcelona 5-0 and ended the Catalan dynasty. Laudrup, who had won 4 consecutive La Liga titles with Barca, completed his personal 5-peat in white.
Paul Pogba joined Juventus for free from Manchester United, not once, but twice. The first time was a total success. The 19-year-old midfielder had played just 7 official matches for United when, in 2012, he refused to extend his contract and Juventus swapped in, leaving Sir Alex Ferguson furious. The legendary manager said Pogba had disrespected United. The Frenchman thrived in Italy, winning 4 Serie A titles in 4 years and forming a legendary midfield trio with Andrea Pirlo and Arturo Vidal. Then he returned to United for 105 million euros and a 6-year deal. Pogba, the most expensive footballer in history until 2017, did next to nothing in his second stint in Manchester. When his contract expired, same story. He left for Juventus again, free of charge, without returning a single cent back in United's pocket. But this time, it was a complete disaster. He got injured the moment he stepped back in Turin, and later tested positive in a doping control. Pogba played only 213 minutes in his second Juventus chapter. In 2021, Real Madrid offered 200 million euros for Kylian Mbappe, and PSG didn't even bother to open the door. 3 years later, the Frenchman arrived at the Santiago Bernabeu for free. I mean, free is just a manner of speaking. He still had to be paid a massive amount, but all of it went straight into the player's pockets. Not a single cent went to his former club. In his first season at Madrid, Mbappe won the first golden boot of his career. Meanwhile, his former teammates won the one thing he was never able to lift, the first Champions League in PSG history. Gianluigi Donnarumma spent 6 seasons at AC Milan and seemed destined to become a club legend. That's why it hurt so much when he refused to renew his contract. The young goalkeeper was only 22 years old when he triggered an uproar in Italy by swapping Milan for Paris Saint-Germain in 2021. It took 4 years, but time ultimately proved him right. Long criticized for a string of high-profile errors, the Italian shot stopper ended up as one of the undisputed heroes of PSG treble-winning 2025 campaign. Henrik Larsson was only 32 years old when he joined Barcelona in 2004. The Swedish striker had already become a legend at Feyenoord and Celtic. But that was never enough for a major club in a top league to take a chance on him, until Barca stepped in. Desperate to end a 5-year trophy drought, it was a zero-risk move. Larsson arrived for free and delivered big in the supporting role the team needed. He played 2 seasons for Barcelona, won 2 La Liga titles, and played a crucial part in the Champions League final against Arsenal. That day, Barca ended a 14-year European drought, winning its second ever Champions League title with a 2-1 victory, thanks to 2 assists from Larsson in his final match wearing the Blaugrana shirt. James Milner played 5 strong seasons at Manchester City, after which he left for what was then considered a smaller club, Liverpool, and he did it for free. At the time, it seemed like a mistake. No one could have ever imagined that Milner's best years were still ahead. Without a doubt, the midfielder enjoyed the peak of his career at Liverpool, where he played for 8 seasons, scored 26 goals and delivered 46 assists, and won the Champions League, the Premier League, FA Cup, Club World Cup, UEFA Super Cup, Carabao Cup, and Community Shield. There's only one thing more despicable than abandoning the club you came up through, captain, and loved, just to join the hated rival next door. And that one thing is doing it for free, without leaving a single cent in the bank account of the club that raised you. That's exactly what happened in 2001, when Tottenham Hotspur lost Sol Campbell to Arsenal. And yes, there's something even worse than being a homegrown captain turned traitor, thriving with the team you left for free. That's exactly what the English centre-back did at Arsenal, playing 5 seasons and winning 2 Premier League titles, including the 2004 campaign, when he led the Invincibles. As unbelievable as it sounds, since 2020, Chelsea has spent over 2 billion on new players, and ironically, one of their best signings during that stretch cost exactly €0. Thiago Silva. At 36 years old, the Brazilian centre-back seemed past his prime when he left PSG after 8 seasons in France, but in his first year in London, he played a crucial role in the club's Champions League triumph and was later awarded the Golden Ball at the Club World Cup, a rare honor for a defender. Alongside Rhys James, he became one of the only survivors from the Roman Abramovich era after Todd Bowley took over. In the 2022-2023 season, Silva was named Chelsea Player of the Year, and by 2023, at age 39, he was still a starter for a club where he unexpectedly shined for 4 seasons. Many believed Andrea Pirlo was finished in 2011, including AC Milan itself, which chose not to renew the contract of a midfielder who had spent 10 years winning absolutely everything with the club, including the Scudetto in that very same year. That premature farewell marked the end of Milan's golden days, plunging the club into a crisis it still hasn't recovered from. Juventus, on the other hand, was about to rise. In 2011, the old lady had gone 9 years without a clean Scudetto, and Pirlo, still birdless at the time, arrived for free and immediately led them to the title in his very first season. He went on to win 4 straight Serie A championships, in his 4 mythical years as a Juventus player, wearing the black and white shirt with even more elegance than the red and black. The best version of Ferenc Puskás came around the 1954 World Cup in Switzerland, when the legendary forward was still playing for Hungary's Honvéd. After the failed Hungarian Revolution, Puskás fled his country and arrived at Real Madrid. Old, overweight, and on a free transfer. No one could have ever predicted that in 1958 that this aging Hungarian will have so much left in the tank. But he spent 8 seasons with Los Blancos, scoring 242 goals in 262 matches. With Madrid, Puskás won 5 La Liga titles, 3 European Cups, and 4 Pichichi trophies. The greatest free signing in football history is that of Robert Lewandowski. He played 8 seasons with Bayern Munich and won 8 Bundesliga titles, breaking a Gerd Müller record that everyone thought was untouchable. In 375 appearances for Bayern, the Polish striker scored 344 goals, 29 of them against his favorite victim, Borussia Dortmund, his former team, the one that dared to challenge mighty Bayern while Lewandowski still wore yellow, and which was cruelly awakened from that dream in 2014 when the Bavarians took him away for absolutely nothing.